In the 90s, the newspapers reached a fever pitch regarding what it termed bogus asylum seekers. Today, we like to use the word genuine, which, like bogus, is loaded with stereotypes of people being undeserving of state protection, who are dishonest, cowardly for leaving their country, and a drain on our resources. In the 90s, asylum seekers were allowed to work, so accused of stealing British people's jobs. These media soundbite mask a complicated system with laws that are continuously changing to make it difficult as possible to claim asylum and be awarded refugee status. Even the United Nations Convention definition of who is considered a refugee is very narrow and very difficult to prove. So, what is a refugee? You can see by the definition that you need to show that you have been specifically targeted, okay, that you're in danger of that persecution continuing should you return. And actually, this kind of definition is so narrow that it excludes lots of other different types of people, especially women. If you're simply fleeing war and have not been specifically targeted, you're not eligible to be granted refugee status. Those who are unable to meet the rigid definitions are sometimes granted indefinite or exceptional leave to remain in the United Kingdom. Or if the United Nations has deemed a region so dangerous no one should be sent back to that country, that might be another reason why you're granted indefinite or exceptional leave to remain. Does that then make these people bogus or not genuine because they don't meet this criteria? Some will argue that their lack of identity documents or use of passports with false names makes them bogus, as normally immigrants must have these documents. But this argument is attempting to apply conditions of a peaceful functioning society onto a society that may be a dictatorship, for example, may be at war, for example, or might be using some other means of persecution that stops a person using passports in their own names. The United Nations has very clearly said this should not be used as an obstacle for people claiming asylum. Is it really a crime to run out of your home in the middle of the night with no documents, if you had any to begin with, as in some places that are so poor people don't have identity documents, when soldiers may be coming to arrest and torture you because you have opposed the corrupt government? What if your village had been torched or your city had been bombed? What do you do? If you are lucky enough to find relatives or an organisation to help you escape, you may be given false documents in order to leave the country and travel to a place you feel you will be safe in. People here in the West forget that the bureaucratic infrastructure of a region does not always exist when a country is in a state of war, or ethnic groups are being persecuted, or there are extreme levels of poverty.